time, and how did you notice that you could dance?
When I was younger, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because I used to do drill, which is like marching. That's something that I really, really like and enjoyed a whole lot.
Right.
But once that went away, it's like, okay, so now what am I going to do to be able to express myself? And then, boom, 6 years ago, got introduced to dance. That's just been me. That's been it.
Heard. What kind of music inspires you the most to dance?
Ooh, what kind of music? I like music with a message behind it. Some that, cause it's easy to have a conversation with it while I'm dancing. It's like, okay, you talking to me, now let me talk to you. So
Through the moves.
right. So it could be, listen, if I hear a rock song and it's talking to me, we can relate to each other. And then it comes out.
So it doesn't really matter the genre.
It doesn't really matter the genre. Because if I come across a good country song, I'm like, I'm doing that. Might not do it for a dance class, but personally, whatever speaks to me.
Were you always as flexible as you are today, or was it something you had to work towards?
I would have to say I was always as flexible. When I was younger, I wasn't really in gymnastics or anything, but as far as being flexible, I kind of already had that as a kid. Me and my cousin were like, oh, look who can do a split. I don't want you to see a split. Let me see you do a straddle. Let me see you do a backflip. It was scary. It was scary when I attempted to do a backflip because I never did it before and I just went for it. But then as I got older, I'm like, oh, okay, it's nice to know I still got that a little bit, even though it's been decades later.
You can do a backflip.
Whoa, calm down. One at a time. Like, and it's going to, I'll go a little slow, but once I get the momentum, I got you.
Do you ever get nervous dancing in front of an audience? Like, I was going through your Instagram and I saw this shoot you did on like Word Street. Was that nerve-wracking? You was in a red dress.
I wasn't nervous. I was more concerned with how the tension was going to be from the heels to the ground, because I literally came up with a choreo on the way there. Horrible. Yeah, I know. Don't recommend it. But my main concern was just basically my movements to the ground. How is that gonna work? Realizing it didn't work, improvise. But as far as dancing in public, I don't think I really had a problem. I did have a problem when I was younger. You know, it was definitely, nerve-wracking performing in front of an entire auditorium full of people. So of course that's pretty much nerve-wracking, but once you start, it's up from there. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just going.
Got you. When did you create City Hills?
So I created City Hills 2 years ago because the anniversary is actually coming up. I do believe it is a March 4th.
Oh,
it's the
really
anniversary, so the anniversary is coming up. That's when I created it. Now, when I actually started doing classes, it was probably some months after the creation.
Okay. What classes do you teach under the City Hills umbrella?
Under the City Hills umbrella, I teach back to basics with hills. Basically, the foundation on how to walk in hills, and dance classes, is mobility classes in there, and then your regular dance classes.
Did the pandemic inspire the creation of City Hills at all?
It did.
Okay.
It didn't inspire that at all. It inspired something else, but it wasn't because of the pandemic.
Explain how teaching women to dance in a more sexy and provocative way can help to empower them.
It frees you from what people would ideally have an idea of you. So initially, as a woman, you're supposed to be, keep your legs crossed, keep your head up. Don't wear your skirt past your,
above your knee.
Above your knees, right? Sit with poise. But when in that moment, you don't necessarily kind of know who you are because somebody else is telling you that. But when you're dancing, you're finding out who you are. You are exploring, a more sensual side of you that, just sitting still, you wouldn't find out. You wouldn't know you were as flexible to bend back. If you didn't dance, you wouldn't know oh, I like how I move, I like how I walk, when I'm in the heels, so I feel as though this helps you find who you are.
All right, you was just talking about heels. What is the secret, or at least one of the secrets, to walking or dancing in heels? For the girlies who don't know how to walk in heels.
What is the secret to walking in heels? It's not really a secret to walk in heels. Don't you know when babies are learning to walk for the first time? It's like, well, how do you walk? How did you get to be able to skip, jump, and sprint and, hop over things? It's literally baby steps. That's it.
So it's like practice makes perfect, pretty much.
Yes, overall. Like you start with a heel, or you don't have to start with a heel, you start with a sneaker, and then you upgrade to a kitty heel, and then you want to upgrade to a block heel, and then you want to minimize that heel, and then boom, I'm a stiletto queen. Yeah, so I remember when I upgraded my heels, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. I kind of just went straight forward.
What's the highest heel you ever danced in?
4.5 inch. Yeah, that's not for the weak, and I wouldn't recommend it. But to each his own. To each his own. For me, it was a balance issue. Dancing in it wasn't a problem, but for me, with my turns and leaning forward, leaning backwards, I wasn't able to grasp that balance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's put this down by an inch. And then I was like, okay, this is more comfortable for me.
As a teacher, like a dance teacher, what's the hardest part of teaching other people how to dance? If there are any hard parts.
Kind of don't. It's levels of it. I don't really have anything hard because I make sure that they can only dance to their comfortability. It is going to be a push in certain areas of the class. There's no doubt. I want to make sure everybody push, but only push to your comfortability.
Do you make up your own choreography?
I do make up my own choreography.
Okay. Where do you get your inspiration from for choreo?
From the song. I just listen to the song and I'm like, how do I want to move? How are we feeling? What's the message here? Like, ooh, I want to do something nice right here. I want to drop right here. I want to pose. I want them to stop, and they're gonna drop it like it's hot. So I get the inspiration from the song. I might not always know what they're saying because the song with the beat, you might not catch it, but the song will speak to you. It's like, how we feeling?
Got it.
How are we feeling? What we want to do?
It's the conversation you was talking about earlier.
The conversation
with the music.
The
I love it.
conversation.
So, like I said earlier, I went so deep through your social media, it's ridiculous. And Grease is my favorite movie.
So, at my old job, they were having a talent show. They knew that I danced. And it was like, hey, Avery, you gonna do the talent show? I was like, no, probably not. And it was like, yeah, you should dance and do something. I'm like, no thanks. But then I'm like, I thought about it some more. I'm like, you know what, we gonna dance. So I was like, hey, you guys, if I come up with a choreo, do you guys wanna do it? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And it was like, Avery, don't kill me, but can you dumb it down a little bit more? I was like, it was already simple. Like, we gotta perform this pretty soon, so we recorded. My choreo, I didn't come up with on my own. The choreo I found off of someone else's page, and his name is Larry London. So,
Okay.
and I'm like, this is even more perfect because he did a piece to it. So I literally went home and performed my part, which wasn't easy because it wasn't a tutorial. I'm watching this on repeat, replaying it 1,001 times, trying to figure out what foot he's turning on, what hand he's using, and he's going really, really fast. I did partial of it. So that day, obviously nobody knows any choreo. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'll perform, I'll take the super spotlight off of y'all, but we're still as a group. So they just in the back, I'm like, you guys are just gonna shimmy back,
Little
shimmy
50
here,
yeah.
shimmy here, puff here, throw here, and throw there, and then that was it. They had so much fun just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They did the two-step choreo. Because I had them doing a little something else, but it was simple. In my eyes, it was simple. And that's how that came together. We didn't win anything on a talent show, but we got spotlight towards the end of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, we still made it, because that's the best part. The spotlight that ended, and I was like, okay, y'all guys gotta pat yourself on the back.
It seemed like such a fun day when I was watching it. I was like, I gotta hear this story.
It was so crazy. It was a madhouse. It was good though.
So with that being said, what's your favorite dance you choreographed, and what song was it to?
Oh, what is my favorite? Yeah.
I know it's a lot of them.
It's a nice good combo. And honestly, it gets better and better each time. So that's why it's hard to somewhat say which one is my favorite. The recent one that I did with Beyonce, I'll probably have to say at the moment that would be my favorite.
Okay, was it to one of her country songs?
Absolutely not. No shade, no shame.
Which song was it?
It was Beyonce Naughty Girl. It was to
Okay.
that for Valentine's Day.
I saw that.
Yeah,
That was
that.
very cute.
So far, that would be my favorite. It was between that and Doja Cat that I did for somebody for a private. I'm like, that was really good too. Like, you just step back and be like, I did that!
Mm-hmm.
But the Beyonce girl, I was like, I did that. You know, when you eat something real good, you're like, yo, you put your pinky toe, your ancestors in there. I like that one right there.
I could see, as I was looking through your Instagram, like I can see literally the growth. Like, you know, you always were good, but I can just see it. So, yeah, girl, you're doing really good. And you are improving. Yes. Yes. Do you prefer freestyling or choreography?
I prefer freestyling over choreography, especially dancing to a song that I've never heard before, because it's not choreographed, and you just going with the flow and trying to figure out, like, okay, you trying to talk to me now, let me try and show it, let me put it into motion. So, and like I said, it can get challenging because you don't know what's happening, you don't know what they're gonna say. Like, okay, I see where we're going with this. I see what you're talking about now. It's like a mental challenge.
Self-care is very important to you. Why?
Self-care is important to me because it helps balance our life, in my opinion. When you tend to self-care, you, just like dancing, you relieve stress, you know. You are able to think clearly. It's just beneficial all around in a way.
What does a typical day of self-care look like for you?
A typical day of self-care for me, let's self-sit. It can be a couple things. To me, so I like getting my nails done. To me, that adds to my flair, my personality. You know, to be able to get my nails done. Way back when, I couldn't get my nails done all the time. You know, I had to try and gel up something real quick. indulging in a couple of my hobbies. So, going out to eat, it's a lot of little knickknacks. Reading, but my number one, scheduling a time slot to dance. And if it's not that, for me, music. Everybody's self-care regimen is different, but for me, that feeds my self-care.
Got you. What is your workout regimen like?
So typically, I work out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They got this whole entire circuit. It's the best thing ever. It seriously is. It's challenging. I don't have to think about it. You just go around, do what you do what you can, and it's always someone there to encourage you. Like, come on, you got this, almost there, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, you got 5 seconds, time! Like, that excitement is, you almost forget, kind of what you're there for. Except for you sweating your life away.
Right.
But that's like my favorite. I love it. It's like perfect in a week.
If you can have fun working out, that's a plus.
Absolutely.
That's a plus. Tell us about your special event you have coming up. Like, I saw that you have the Luck of the Hill coming up. I said, that ain't the most creative name I ever heard in my life. So, tell us a little bit about, I think it's 3 events you got coming up in March, right? Like special events.
I do. I have Luck of the Hill.
Love that name.
Thank you. I like having themes. I like changing things up and moving things around. I don't want it to always be the same. Some things will be the same, but as far as that sense, I love it. You gotta play with it, That's another form of expression and, in that way. So yes, that is a Heels class that's in March, that's coming up. The Heels workshop coming up, that is March 1st. I do have that coming up, and that is basically for anyone who has no clue how to walk in heels. Or basically you don't have no clue, you wanna learn, you wanna try. I can't just jump into class and just put heels, even though you don't have to have heels in heels class. You can always wear sneakers in absolutely anybody's heels class. If that's your comfortable space, that's your comfortable space. That doesn't disqualify you from being able to find a heel. So I do have that workshop coming up, and then after that, the same day, there is an audition, a dance hall audition. Right after that, it's a audition for an event that's happening towards the end of March, the 27th, I believe. Details. And that, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. It's going to be super exciting. But yes, the auditions are also March 1st, and that I believe starts at 9 p.m.
Got you. Downtown or west side?
No, it's going to be downtown, and you get paid to dance.
Tell the people where they can keep up with you to find out all things Avery.
You can keep up with all things City Hills and Avery at City Hills LLC on Instagram. And you can also subscribe to our email listing and get all the newsletters and discounts and events at www.aamshop.com.
Perfect. Thank you for talking to us today.
Anytime. Absolutely. Okay.